Alright, yeah, and welcome back to another episode with our Eldrazi Aggro deck. As always, this episode is sponsored by 5 Color Combo, so if you check the description, you'll find a link to their website where you can find some really cool Magic the Gathering tokens made by real Magic the Gathering artists. So if that's something that interests you, then be sure to check it out. Alright guys, without further ado, let's get into the games. See you there. Okay, we're on the play. We have a turn 2 and a turn 3 play, some removal and some late game. I think this is good enough. The lands are a bit sketchy, since the first time we're going to use Ether Hub is pretty much when the red source is going to go, but I reckon we can get another source before then. So let's go Swamp and pass the turn. Our opponent is rank 31, called Hi Panda. What are you playing? Individual you. Ooh, red, drop into Bomat Courier. Potentially red deck wins, I guess. It's definitely an aggro deck. So he gets to attack in, exile the top card of his library. Fair play. Might be the one of the last times he gets that attack in. Ah, we get a colourless source. That sucks. Well, we're going to go Ether Hub, and we're going to get our Forerunner of Slaughter out. 3/2 blocker for his Courier. And potentially just a little bit more damage than he can put out. We'll see. He is running red though, so there is a fairly good chance... Ooh, it's blue as well. It's a fairly good chance that we're going to see a lot of burn coming our way, which means that this is likely to be a bad matchup. But who knows. So he's probably going to skip his combat here. I doubt he's going to suicide that Bomat Courier into us. Yeah. And then next turn he can just use it to crew up the Smuggler's Copter and get in over the top. Oh, beautiful. Dragon Skull Summit. Okay, well that allows us to get our Flare Drone down. Do we want to trade off with this Smuggler's Copter? If he's willing to make the trade. Sure. I think that's a good enough plan. So we'll attack in 4/3. If he wants to crew up his Smuggler's Copter and trade, I'm fine with that. Looks like he doesn't. Sure. What we could do here is hold up Disintegration for his Smuggler's Copter, and then next turn, if we still have our Forerunner hanging around, we can actually play a land, Flare Drone, and give it haste. So I think actually holding off on the Flare Drone, because it's not doing anything this turn anyway, so I think taking a turn off to potentially remove a Smuggler's Copter is pretty good. There's like blue-red vehicles. It's very odd. So this one gets +1/+1 and trample whenever it attacks. So he's going to crew up his Smuggler's Copter, and when he goes to combat, he's going to lose it. So destroy that. He doesn't get to loot with it, and we get to get in for 6 here, because he's tapped out, so he can't crew. Ooh, Nettle Drone. Nettle Drone is quite good. Well, we are going to Sanitarium, and then we're going to make sure we tap the right mana here. Is there any particular order we want to put these in? I think we just want Flare Drone down, right? Saying that, Nettle Drone doesn't have first strike like Flare Drone does, so this is the opportunity to get it in since he can't actually block. So the combat ability of Flare Drone isn't really being utilised as much here. So I think actually Nettle Drone, which is essentially the same thing without first strike, is probably the better choice. And then we're going to pay 1 to give this haste, and we're going to get him for 6. Let's go. Skadoosh. So we've got 5 mana in hand. We need 1 more red source before we can, or 1 energy at least, before we can get Chandra down, on top of needing the extra land. So seeing that soon might be kind of good. Chief of the Foundry. Okay. Gives all artifacts +1/+1. Does mean that he's going to be able to crew this up now. Yeah. Probably with his Chief, which means he can get in with his Bomat Courier, which has got just 1 card underneath it. So we're taking 8 here. But our opponent's going to be taking significantly more. Well, not significantly. About the same amount, so we can race them at this point. If he's willing to make the race, then I'm willing to do it. So, another land. It's not too bad. We might as well play it because we can't Sanitarium at the same time. I'm going to tap Nettledrone because we're about to cast a colourless card, so it will untap. And then we're going to Flare Drone. Untaps the Nettledrone. We can almost kill him. Almost. We just need one more colourless creature or colourless card and we can win. So give that haste. Get in for 9. And see what our opponent can do. It's not out of the question that he can kill us. If he has another chief, for example, then we probably are dead. But we're in this race mode right now, so I don't care. Because that's 8 with these two and 10 for the chief. And that's not going to do it. It keeps him alive, I think. Well, it means that he's not really willing to get in for an attack here. Not with everything. He needs to have a blocker for every single one of our creatures. And also Nettledrone is going to tap and kill him anyway, so... yeah. He can get 10 damage in, but that's it. Yep, passes the turn. We untap. We draw a land, which would have been enough for Chandra. But we're just going to tap our Nettledrone. 1 damage for the game. Beautiful, beautiful. Alright, on to the next game. Okay. 1 land hand. A 2-drop into 3 drops. We'd have to get really lucky for this hand to be good. Same again. And I suppose this one's as acceptable as it's going to get. We'll go mountain and pass the turn. I'm not really confident with this hand, to be perfectly honest. Next turn we have Smuggler's Copter, so if we draw a 3-drop, then we can crew it up and get a better hand, which is the one upside of Smuggler's Copter. Instead, we get a Sky Sovereign, which is essentially a dead card. So, Smuggler's Copter's down. Our opponent is on black-white, called Rico Harning, rank 30. What have you got for me? Oh, what are you? At the beginning of your upkeep, put a 1/1 counter on it and lose 1 life. Alright. Well, we're going to allow him to lose a fair bit of life and then we might Firecraft it to death. But for now, we're going to Sanitarium and try get a better card then, I guess. While he's tapped out as well, so that he doesn't have any madness cards he can exploit. Forerunner of Slaughter. I think we get rid of the Looming Spires now, don't we? Yeah, we have 2 basics for Smouldering Marsh to come into play. Untapped. So that'd be the 4th land drop. On the 5th, we can get Sky Sovereign out, and we still have the Forerunner to start using Sky Sovereign to get over the top. So our opponent has drawn and discarded a... what the hell is that? Giant Spectacle. Enchanted creature has +2/+1 and has Menace. I feel like he's just trying to make some big creatures here. That's my guess. This is like black-white enchantments with a bit of red in it. I don't know. Chief of the Foundry. Okay. Artifacts get +1/+1. And he's going to get him for 2. Sure. Okay. We get a Mindbender. It's going to give us some indication as to what he's doing. The worry that I have is that this guy's going to get out of hand really quickly. We can't deal with him after he gets past 4 toughness, that's the thing. Unless we draw into hard-casted removal, like our Unlicensed Disintegrations, but we have to draw them first, so... as you might guess, that's a bit of a problem. So we've got another turn at least. Unless he puts some sort of enchantment that boosts it up before we have to worry about that. So I guess I'm just going to Forerunner of Slaughter here. And crew up and see if we can get a better draw. Not sure what the better draw would be, but by the looks of it, he's probably not running many flyers, so Sky Sovereign can do a fair bit of work. We get another Forerunner of Slaughter. That is a backup creature. I guess we're going to drop the Mindbender, purely because we don't actually have a 3-drops, and we're kind of in a bit of a weird situation with our lands, so... yeah, I don't like the odds of us actually being able to get Mindbender up when we really need it to. He's going with a Fleet Wheel Cruiser, which is going to be a 6/4. Gets to become a vehicle with Trample. He's only getting in with a Cruiser. I do not agree with that play, but sure. So we need to hit a land here. A land is going to be great so that we can get our Sky Sovereign down on time. And we hit an Ether Hub. Wonderful. So, Sky Sovereign's going to allow us to deal 3 damage to this thing, which means that we don't have to use our Firecraft on it, which makes me happy. And you are naturally a 5/3. Which means we can probably block with Forerunner of Slaughter since we have a backup one anyway. So, Sky Sovereign comes in. Deals with this guy while we still can. His next turn he would be a 4/4. And then I guess we're just going to crew up our Smuggler's Copter and get in again. I like the cards that are in our hand, but maybe I like the one on top even better. So we're going to try it out. So he's getting in for 8 next turn. If he has another Fleet Wheel Cruiser, then obviously we just lose, but... you know, you can't fight decent draws like that. Sometimes your opponent just draws better than you. It's not something you really want to hedge your bets against, really, because you're probably going to lose to begin with. So we got our opponent down to 12. 2 turns away from dying with our Sky Sovereign. And our Sky Sovereign's going to be able to take down this Chief, which will stop him from crewing his vehicles then as well. So he gets this hit. I don't know why I said 8, because he has to crew with it, but there you go. So he's getting in for 6. Our opponent could have removal for the Sky Sovereign, of course, which would suck a little bit. But not too much. So we're down to 6. And he's got a Smuggler's Copter. Okay. And that is all. So if we get rid of his Chief... what's in... Blessed Alliance is in 2 mana like that. So we need to make sure that we're getting in with another creature on top of that. Which isn't actually that difficult, because we've got Forerunner of Slaughter. And we don't even have to give it haste. Right, let's make sure we're tapping correctly. Yep, that looks about right. Because I want to be able to Firecraft as well. So, Sky Sovereign. Crewed up with the Summoning Sick Forerunner. We then get to attack in for 9 here. And 12 with our Firecraft. And kill your Chief, so even if we don't win this turn, you have nothing to crew your vehicles with. Unless you draw into something. Okay. And... Firecraft for the win, please. Yes! Sweet. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Doing really well with this deck. They're going very fast as well, so we might as well go for another game. Alright, I'll see you then. Alright, we're back in. We're on the draw. We have both colours of mana, plus a Ruins, and a very expensive hand. I think we can do better, to be honest. And this one's arguably better. We have a turn 1 play. We have Ether Hub for the red mana that we need, and Harness Lightning's going to get us that energy, so yeah, this one's good enough. We're also on the draw as well, so I'd like to see another land so that we can get these Dominator drones going. Our opponent's on green, okay. And we get another land, wonderful. So, Black Sauce into Bomat Courier. Swing in for 1. Let's go. Come on. Thank you. Our opponent, by the way, rank 30, called PC Litius. Yep. Uh-huh. That guy, we're just going to call him. What's that guy playing? Green-red. Okay, we've seen a green-red deck before. That was just ramping in, but we killed them before they even remotely got close to where they wanted to ramp to. So I think what we're going to do here is, first of all, we're going to swing in with our Bomat Courier. We have no intention of sacking this to take the cards from underneath, so there's no reason to hold up red mana to do it. And it's more incentivizing him to kill it while I can't do anything with it. But, yeah. We'll just go Ether Hub here. Get the energy, but we're only going to use the colourless, because we're going to actually play a Smuggler's Copter. Which now means we get to loot and make our hand look a lot better. Next turn we have Dominator Drone, and then the turn after that, hopefully, if we hit a land, probably after Smuggler's Copter, then we get to Mindbender and find out what they're doing and screw their hand over royally. And we find another land, but it is not a black source, which is unfortunate. Well, we're going to play the Swamp just because we need this Dominator Drone down so that we can crew the Smuggler's Copter and get in for 4, as well as the 2 damage off the Dominator Drone. So, crew up the Copter. We might see a removal spell here, but as long as we get the attack in, we do. Then we're going to profit. So we get the trigger. We are going to loot. Ooh, Vile Aggregate. We're struggling on red sources a bit, though. That's the only thing. So I think I actually might drop the Vile Aggregate. Looking for a red source most of all. They're probably sat underneath Bomat Courier right now. But I think we can just race him with what we've got in hand alone. We've got Harness Lightning to take out a creature that's preventing us from getting in, so it's 6 damage next turn minimum. Yeah, he's had enough. We're going to continue though. 6 damage next turn minimum, but we're also getting this 2 extra life in. We've got Mindbender to empty out our opponent's hand, and they're going with a Nissa. Nice. Well, with our board state, we're probably going to force a trade off with the Nissa. We'll see how he wants to do it, because we'll get in with our Dominator Drone and our Smuggler's Copter. If he doesn't trade off with the Dominator Drone, then we'll emerge it and Mindbender. And we get a Dragon Skull Summit, which is the red source we were looking for. So we're going to crew up using the Bomat Courier. Getting in for 6 here, which is half the life total he's got left. We could Harness Lightning, but then we can't Dominator Drone or Mindbender. That's the thing. So I'd rather just see if he wants to trade off with a Dominator Drone. And just get in for 3 guaranteed here. Let's loot Chandra. We're on 4 mana. We've got 5 in hand. 2 red sources. Yeah, we can afford to keep you. Kind of. Oh, I don't know. Let's drop the Harness Lightning, I guess. I don't like getting rid of any of them, to be honest. Yeah, he's going to make the trade with the Dominator Drone. That's fair enough. So we're going to Dominator Drone again. Drain him for 2. Skadoosh. Down to 7. Pass the turn. So, we're a land short of Chandra. We have both red sources in the Ether Hub and the Dragon Skull Summit as well. Every single attack we make essentially forces a trade with him, which is awesome. Although in this particular case, he gets a little bit of advantage out of it because he gets to sacrifice his clue. Okay. I don't think we'll make the same trade again because we need something to emerge this Mindbender out with. So, what we are going to do instead, Nettle Drone, is we're going to play a Swamp. We're going to use the Dominator Drone that we plan on emerging with to crew up the Smuggler's Copter. We're then, while he's tapped out, we're going to emerge a Mindbender so that we can take a card with 3 or less and 4 or greater. He has no 3 or less players in there. Oh my god, that's a lot of creatures that I don't want to deal with. Okay. How many lands has he got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He can play Woodland Bellower next turn and into the Maw of Hell. It's this Nissa's Revelation that's going to bug me, because he gets to gain life equal to a creature's toughness, and as you can see, he can probably get out of the range. Saying that, if we hit a land on this Smuggler's Copter, we get to Chandra in some damage, so I'd rather him not have a creature next turn with the Woodland Bellower, which is essentially 2 creatures. So Mindbender's going to come down. It is a 5 power and toughness creature, which is pretty decent, although Tireless Tracker is likely to be the case, because he does have a land in hand. And we get Scrap-Eat Scrounger, which is perfect for discarding. We got 3 cards under the Bomat Courier, which is more than we have in our hand. So maybe we want to try empty out a hand, although I don't think the game's going to last that long, to be perfectly honest. So he's hit his 6-drop. He has an unknown card in hand now. And he can sack a clue, but then he probably can't cast anything. So he's going with Into the Maw of Hell to deal 13 damage to a creature and destroy one of my lands. Yeah. Well, that means that Chandra's off the cards, to be honest, so I think we're just going to sack the Courier. Oh, and we get a Reality Smasher. Oh, we need a colorless source for it, though. Okay. Well, we can play a Vile Aggregate and crew up the Smuggler's Copter, guaranteed 3 damage, and a trade with his Tireless Tracker here. Does mean we can't get the Scrap-Eat Scrounger out of the graveyard, but we can do that at a later date, I suppose. So yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. Should have actually gone for the Nettle Drone now that I think about it, because he would have been able to untap and do that last little bit of damage, but our opponent doesn't have anything to deal with Smuggler's Copter, so he's got to get really lucky on that top draw, on that top deck. And we find a red source. We weren't missing a red source, so I'm just going to get rid of it. That would have been useful when we had Chandra, but we don't. Okay, so our opponent's down to 1. They need an answer to 3 creatures. One of them that is not currently a creature, so he needs instant speed removal. And Nissa's Revelation. Yes, of course. You get to scry 5, draw X cards and gain... Oh, you son of a... Alright, so he gets to draw 10 cards and gains 10 life. Yep. And he discards Ulamog and a lot of lands. Sure. Ruins of Oran Reef does mean that Reality Smasher can come down next turn, which is awesome. We have a Scrap-Eat Scrounger in the graveyard. Do I want to maybe Mindbender him? I don't know. I just don't know. Well, next turn, Reality Smasher comes down. It's 5 damage, trampled. He had a Plated Crusher in his hand, and I think he's cast everything else. I can't think of what else he had in his hand, so Plated Crusher's the only one we know of. Which is kind of why I want to Mindbender him, just to make sure that he doesn't have anything like another Nissa's Revelation. He's not running the colours to reanimate, so anything that goes in his graveyard's perfectly fine. I think what I'll do here is I'll crew using the Vile Aggregate. I'll use the Vile Aggregate to emerge out another Mindbender, and we'll see what he's drawn. There's a better chance now, yeah. So we get rid of... Have we got any... Get rid of the Pulsar Marasser. The Firecraft's annoying, but it doesn't actually target anything we've got. except for the Smuggler's Copter, but he has to get that at instant speed, so that's absolutely fine. So this stops him gaining any kind of life that we don't want him to have. And then probably Omnath, just because if he hits a land drop, he gets 2 creatures out, as opposed to 1 that he's going to have to take his entire turn to do. He does have Into the Maw of Hell again, which is really annoying. But I think Omnath's the card to take here. So we've got 2 5/5s and a 3/3 that he can't really deal with. Next turn we're going to have Reality Smasher coming down as well. Yes, please. I'll discard that Swamp. Thank you. So 3 damage in. That's 8 total. So he has to be able to block / kill 2 of our creatures in order to get what he wants. He does have the Into Maw of Hell, which could have helped him, but I think that's enough. Yeah, we've got 10 damage. Unless he's drawn into something with the last 2 mana, which he's just tapped out to say no, then we win. Okay, so Reality Smasher comes down. 5/5 Hasty Trample. He can block 1 all he wants, but 10's getting through. And that's going to be the game. I'm sure I could have probably played that a little bit better, actually. It seemed as though I might have been able to kill him a bit sooner than that, but we got it through. And we never let off on the pressure, so it always makes panic moves for him. Alright guys, well that is actually where we're going to leave it for today. So if you have enjoyed the content, then be sure to leave a like, it helps me out a great deal, lets me know you're enjoying the series. If you haven't already, then be sure to subscribe for more Magic Duels content as well as other stuff, and if you're not sure what that is, then stay for the end card, see the rest of it, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.